Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I'll do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
Welcome everyone to the show. I'm your host, Don Vic. What's up? What's up? You already know the vibes. We're in the building. This is the place where you find new talent, new faces, and new upcoming stars all the time. So today we got special guests coming on the show today. We do have two teams, but they are one unit. Outer Realms Paranormal from the USA and from the UK, their division. Okay, so we're gonna bring them on the show and talk to them and find out exactly what they got going on here in the USA and out in the UK. Okay, let's see what type of spooky stuff they got going on in the UK and here in Boston. I mean, here in the US. I don't know why I say Boston, but here in the USA. Okay, so please welcome my guest, Shane.
Hey.
What's up? And Shani to the show.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
How are you guys?
I'm good. Shani, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Oh, we got Emmy here. Hi, Emmy.
Hey.
Hey, Emmy's in the building. Okay. Oh, Sarah's in here too. Okay.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Sarah's going to be an opponent on my other show. She's going to be singing against Johnny Knuckles.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that last night. And he did Superman, and he did an awesome job. The other one was good too, the Patsy Cline. But yeah. I think Knuckles, he has that edge to him.
Yeah, he does.
Great guy. So yeah,
that's awesome. So, Shane, tell me how this all began for you and your other team from the UK. How did that all come together?
All right. First of all, I've been in the paranormal since I was probably 9 or 10 years old. You know, my grandparents were diehard Southern Baptists, so anybody that knows about Southern Baptists, you know that if you have a haunting, it's probably demonic. And I was standing in a mirror getting ready for church, and it was a mirror that my grandfather made. And I'm standing in the mirror doing something with my tie, and I looked up, and he was standing behind me with his hand on my shoulder. I turned around and looked, and he wasn't there. I turned back, and he wasn't there either. And so that's the first time. And there's been several times after that I started noticing, because especially when you have an experience like that with a loved one, you tend to look at the paranormal a little different. You know, it's not like that you're going into a place and investigating. That's your grandfather. That's your relative that was basically letting you know, I'm here. You're going to be okay. You know, so that was my first experience. I was part of a pretty large group, and I was the executive chapter recruiter for another organization. This is where I met Shaney and several of the other ones that are on our team. We have people all around the U.S. and in the UK. So we are spread out, but we are one team, but we're two different divisions.
Right.
But about 3 months ago, I decided to leave that organization, and my wife was like, you know, why don't you do your own? And the reason why I was so reluctant is because I have end stage renal failure with one kidney. So I'm in dialysis 3 days a week. So, but I'm very active. I'm very, very active. I'm active in my team, in the field, just everywhere. So I don't let that stop me from anything.
Right, right.
So my wife was like, why don't you do your own team? So literally I contacted Shani and I said, Shane, I said, the first thing she said to me was, where we're going. So when she started my own team, so literally in a matter of 5 minutes, we had Outer Realms in the US and Outer Realms UK division in a matter of 5 minutes. So Shani has been with me since the ground, and we are 3 months in, and we're both at 1,100 members per page in 3 months. So we are growing. We're very adaptable when it comes to people. We really enjoy, what we're doing. The paranormal is intriguing, and we love para unity. That's why when we teamed up with Parapost, and we teamed up with the Global Ghost Hunt, because we, as a team, my logo for Outer Realms is "Be the change that you want to see." And I got tired of seeing the dissension and the separation and the backstabbing and stuff like that that goes on with, and it's tearing up friendships, it's tearing up the community. So Outer Realms wants to be a beacon of light in this field to show that para unity does exist, and being partnered with Parapost, that has given us a different platform to meet somebody like yourself, so the world can know who we are,
Yes.
and we can also
Know who I am.
show everybody in the world who we are.
Right. I think that's great that you do that, and I agree with you. I love Parapost. I love Parapost. And I think Brian is a great guy, and so is Matt and everyone there.
Yep.
And like you said, there's a lot of things going back and forth, and I just decided to move away because first of all, I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm not
Right.
that. But I love the investigations. I like what you guys do. Brian gave me an opportunity to be a part of that, and so I accepted. And because of it, I met amazing people like you guys
Thank you.
and me and everyone else that's on this podcast right now watching. Anthony, great guy. Those are the great things that I got out of Parapost, was meeting amazing people like Brian and you guys. I know Brian doesn't have control of what goes on in there, and so I kind of feel bad for him, you know what I mean? Because you don't have control of what everybody does,
Right.
you know, and everybody has different opinions and do different things, and sometimes you get a bad batch, right? You get a bad
Right.
batch that just don't want to follow suit. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
Don't want to follow suit. It makes it difficult for everyone else, and it just got real toxic for me.
Yep.
Just me speaking for me, not for no one else. For me, it got real toxic for me, and I got involved in something that had nothing to do with me, and
Right.
and I just backed off. But
Right.
I'm not saying that Parapost is a bad page. I'm not saying that no one there is a bad person. I'm just saying that it went to the left where it shouldn't have went, and it just made it real difficult for other people
Right.
to
Right.
be a part of something that's not moving the way it's supposed to move. And for me it was toxic. I didn't want it, and I just told Brian, listen up, thank you, but I just can't be part of this because things are not going the way they should be, and I don't want to be a part of something that I have nothing to do with. But
Right.
other than that, I think it's a great network for people to be in, because Brian knows a lot of people, and there's great people there. And same thing with Paralinks,
Yep.
all these great pages that you guys attend to and work with. I think they're great people. Of course, you're gonna have your toxic ones, but
Yep.
those are the ones that you have to put away.
Yep.
And I really feel bad that I had to leave Parapost because I wanted to be there. There's so many amazing guys and gals there that do so many great things, but for my health and my mental health, I just couldn't be a part of it.
Oh, I got you. I understand that.
So moving on from there, um, Shaney, how is it working with Shane and his team?
Oh, great. Yeah, it just works perfectly. It's like we always talk every day. If there's problems and that, we hold meetings and stuff like that. But we're just growing.
That's it. Yeah. And the thing is she's like my sister. So, her and I talk on a daily basis. We take ideas and bounce them off of each other. We both have co-directors, we both have media directors, and but we format our team to be the same all the way across the world.
Mm,
So yes, we're growing. We're growing at a good rate. And we're proud of every single person that we have to collab or to know in this industry. We've met some of the best people that we know in our whole lives, and I can give a whole list of names, but you know who you are. And we
Yeah.
appreciate every single one of you, and we appreciate the fact that we can be somewhat of a light, in Parapost and for Para Unity, because I'm tired of the division and the backstabbing and stuff like that. It shouldn't be. This is something that we should all be wanting to do. Anybody that's in the paranormal field, you should want to do this. You should want to evolve and get better. And when you put yourself in a position, then you start becoming the problem instead of the solution.
right. I get it. And you're right. We're here to brighten up the bring that light out. For everyone. Everyone to shine and help one another and uplift one another. That's what the normal world to me when I came in was
Right.
like that. Before toxic people started coming in and things started to happen. But I've always been a big fan of the paranormal. Not that I had a experience like you did, or maybe like Shaney did, but it's always been something that I've had in the back of my mind. Because at one point I didn't believe, right? At one point I didn't say, man, this is all hoax. This is probably just stuff behind,
Right. Right.
and then when I started getting into it and I started hearing people's stories and then I started seeing evidence, I said, wait a minute, maybe these people really got something you're going, let me pay more attention on what's going on. And then I had an incident that happened to me when I was in prison. Then I said, man, I need to find out what what happened here. What happened to me? What was this all about? Maybe they can explain what I just saw or what just happened to me. And I did, and it was just amazing to know that there is heaven, hell, and then something in between,
Mm.
right? Because when we're young, our parents said, no, you're either gonna go to heaven, you're gonna go to hell, you better do the right thing.
Right.
Nobody explains to you what's in the middle.
Mm.
Nobody tells you about the spirits or the people that are stuck in between heaven and hell, right in the middle. We're not taught that. Parents don't tell us that. They say either you're going to heaven or you're going to hell. They don't tell you, well, you're going to get stuck in the middle. You're going to be stuck with the spirits, or
Right.
they don't tell you
Right.
that. So I can understand people that are non-believers that
Right.
don't
Mm.
know that part of of life that exists. And I'm glad that you guys do what you do,
Thank
because
you.
it opens up eyes like mine when I didn't believe in it, to do my own research,
Right.
and really see what's in between heaven and hell. And it blew my mind, and I love it. So I want to thank you guys for 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 being strong and having that courage to do that, because that's it's you got to have courage to do what you guys do and going to places that
Absolutely.
you guys do. I wouldn't go into none of those places that you guys go and investigate. I'll be on a I wouldn't, you know, but I'm glad I got people like you guys that take that chance and opportunity to go into these places to prove a point,
Yeah.
you know, to the non-believers. And I just want to thank you guys for that, because I think what you guys do is amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, and not everybody can do that. Not everybody can be an investigator, you know, in my opinion, and do what you guys do, because it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of sacrifice, you know, and you don't know what you're going to bring home.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
just don't know. And I think that's my biggest fear, is to, because I'm very sensitive and I pick up things, is to come home and get something and then I can't get rid of it or don't know how to do
Right.
it, you know.
Right.
So, but to watch you guys do it and see what you guys do, I'm all in it. I love it, you know. So Shaney, what, in your time of being an investigator, what has been your most um scariest moment as a as an investigator?
Well, I have two. One was when I was on an investigation. It's called the Demon School.
Okay.
Um, and apparently the history was someone got stabbed in the bathtub. Um, so we all went upstairs. No one else wanted to get in the bathtub, so I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll go in there." I had cat balls round the bath. I had two K2 meters in my hands. Then all of a sudden, I started shaking. I went white, and then they had to get me out the bath. And then after that, I went back to normal. So I then decided I'll go back in the bathtub to see if it happened again, which it did. So then they all went downstairs. So I went to the further bedroom. And as I turned around to walk out the door, something pushed me on my shoulder.
Mm.
And I ran down those stairs faster than anything.
Mm.
Faster than a
and
speeding bullet.
and then the other time was I went to a morgue, and I got there and I just placed my hand on the wall and I took it off really fast, and I saw in my mind there was a girl standing there with long brown wet hair in a netty dress with blood and mud from the left to the right, and she'd been raped.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was that was them
Yeah,
two for me.
you know, this is why I love the paranormal. You know, this is why I love it, because stories like that, like what Shaney's telling me, and you saying, you know, that your grandfather came, you seen him, and I think those are gifts. Not everybody can be able to see something,
Right.
you know, and I think some people may say, oh, that's evil, but I think it's a blessing, because not everyone can have those experiences. And when you got a loved one that comes to you and present themselves to you that way, to let you know that they dare, it's that's there's no words for that. Like, you know they're there to protect you, you know. And I find that so amazing. Um, so Shane, what was been your worst experience
Um.
as a paranormal?
Well. Well. First, after my grandmother died, um, I'm Irish, so my grandparents came from Ireland, and uh, they they were all like empathic, like they all got premonitions, visions, stuff like that. Well, after my grandmother passed, I started getting heavy premonitions and heavy visions, and it was always to warn people, because when I get a vision like this, like I'll give you an example. My mother and I were in a car and we were at a stoplight, and I had a vision, and it was like I can see for a split second what's going on. And I saw it, and the light was about to turn green, and I told my mom, I said, "Mom, don't go, just please don't go." And she listened to me, and the car to the right hand side went forward, and a truck came around and ran the light. A big truck came around and ran the light, hit that car right on the driver's side,
Mm,
knocked him into a telephone pole, and killed that driver, and that would have been me and my mother.
Oh my God.
So that's one, and it's happened my whole life with my wife, with several people. Like, I'm in dialysis, um and one of the nurses, I investigated her house and I cleansed her house, and I'll get into that in a minute too. I cleansed her house, but the same nurse was walking past me one day, and she knocked over the blood bin, and I was sitting in my chair, and I had one of those visions again, and I saw blood, and I saw blood pumped up like this, going up and down, and I
Right.
couldn't really put it in. But the guy that was sitting next to me, he was deaf and he could not talk, and I thought it was for the nurse. So then I came in, and the nurse was like, that vision that you had with blood and stuff like that. He said the guy that was sitting next to you, when he got home that night, he died in his sleep, and they found blood in his lungs. So all that going up and down was him breathing and the blood filling up in his lungs.
Wow.
So that's just that, my premonitions. And the scariest thing besides the demon was at 2:30 in the morning. um a knock came to my door, 3 knocks, and I looked out the window, and this little girl was standing there, long wet hair, and she looked up at me, and her eyes were jet black,
Mm.
jet black. And I was like, nope. And I turned to say, hey, do you see this? Who's out here? And we turned, and it was gone. And so that was a pretty scary experience, knowing that I came that close to a black-eyed child. And if
Okay,
you open the door
sorry, let me
to a
stop you there. Let me stop you there for a second. What it what does that mean when you see a black-eyed child? Is there
um, usually it's an evil entity portraying, and what they want is they show up at your door, and when you open your door, you're inviting that entity in without even knowing, and it will wreak havoc in your home.
Mhm.
wow. That's well, my dog got black eyes. Should I kick my dog out?
You might either that or get them blessed.
Oh,
Big. I'm a licensed and ordained minister. I was a
mm,
preacher for 3 years.
okay.
So, to have these premonitions and visions and stuff, like, you can't just tell, churchy folks that, because then they look like it's demonic or
Right.
something. Well,
Yes.
in that, I specialize in spiritual warfare and demonology.
Mm,
So I work a lot with clients, and work a lot with people that are dealing with spiritual warfare issues. um so I recognized exactly what that was at the door, the black-eyed child at the door. I recognized it, and there's several different ways to identify entities that may be in the area. And one thing I found is that YouTube has put it to where everything's demonic.
yeah.
Out of everything I've ever done, 1%, 1% has been demonic.
Right. I don't believe that everything is demonic. I
Right.
really don't. I really don't. I do believe there's some that are, some that are, depending on what happens, what happened to that individual, or but um it and this is why I love to see it, because this also gives me, it educates me, and if I ever see something that's not normal, I can tell right away. Why? Because I follow you guys. I hear your stories. I see what to look out for, not to look out for. So it's helpful. It's
Yes,
helpful
sir.
to me. And I love to see it. I love to see you guys go in investigations and see what you guys come up with. And I know that not all the time you guys catch something, you know, but most of the time, a lot of you guys do catch something. Either it's an orb, or is it a shadow, or a frame of someone standing somewhere, and 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 and, and that just keep me sharp.
Yep.
You know, to as a person that's not into uh, paranormal, but it keeps me sharp to see if I see anything out of the ordinary. I know that's something from the other side.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that's why I love it, you know, and the fact that I'm spiritual, you know, and I believe in stuff like that, and I believe that, you know, sometimes my parents talk to me in my dreams, you know what I mean, and I see
Yep.
things in my dreams, but but this is something that I love and I always will love because it's always interesting. There's never a wrong question
That's right. That's
when it
right.
comes to the paranormal, and you guys are always and you all you guys are looking for maybe the same thing, you know, that extra uh
Answers.
answers,
Answers.
right? That next step, uh, and I'm sitting back waiting to see what that next thing is, you know. So so I love it, and I thank you guys for that for what you're doing. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
it's really 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 um incredible what you guys do.
Thank you.
Um, have you ever had a spirit never a spirit attack you guys?
Shaney. Shaney with the bathtub and in the stairs.
Yeah. So okay, Shani. So how did you get rid of that?
I just ran outside.
You just ran outside. So they don't follow you out. They don't.
Well, they can, yeah, but the people I went with, they didn't really know what to do, and obviously they left me upstairs on my own. They went downstairs, and obviously when I felt that, my instinct was just to run, so I went back downstairs. And
Which is pretty smart because literally she didn't give it enough time for the attachment to really attach to her. And so that's one thing that I specialize in is I specialize in clearing and cleansing.
Okay.
So if I go into a client's house, that's what I'm there to do. I'm there to investigate, to get evidence, to find out what it is, to identify it and clear it and cleanse the house. And I suggest anybody that goes on investigations to make sure that you're grounded, make sure that you're protected before and after you leave there because you don't want to have an attachment come home with you.
Right.
no.
So do you guys do any prayers before you go in and
Yes.
after?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have a theological background. I've studied the Bible for over 25 years.
Mm,
So I have a real theological background and I got into spiritual warfare and demonology in Bible college. So yes, I absolutely do. And matter of fact, I have a co-director who is a magician and he's sensitive. He's a psychic. So I have him as a co-director because what he does in getting rid of these negative entities is totally different than what I do. I have a certain way. I have a theological approach,
mm,
using Saint Benedict, holy water, frankincense, myrrh, holy oil, uh, you know, just deliverance prayers, stuff like that. And he doesn't use that. He uses his form, but it works for him. And so I've got it to where I'm part of a brotherhood of demonologists. There's four of us
mm.
so far, and we all have license and ordinations and stuff like that. We're theologically sound, as far as a brotherhood, but I have not closed myself off to saying that this is the only way that works,
Right.
because it's not, because it's obviously working for him. And so I have opened myself up to the fact that there are other ways that work. Every person in this world, whether what religion they all have demons and they all have ways of dealing with them. And so I've opened myself up to learning more and more about other religions, about the way they handle demonic cases, about how they handle infestations and possessions and stuff like that. So I've kept myself open to it. But
Okay, that's awesome. So Carol Garcia has a question. She said, Shane, what church are you affiliated with? A demono demonologist, or do you have to be demonologist, or do you have to be?
well, usually to be an exorcist is a Catholic term. I am not ordained or licensed through Catholic. It's more of a holiness church. I do things a little bit different. I'm more uniformed, but I believe demonology is a calling in your life. You know, people are always interested, you know, in demonology and spiritual warfare. And I've seen it in churches to where they'll preach about spiritual warfare over and over again. But a lot of churches don't like to step outside of their comfort zone, and they don't like to deal with the problems that come with it. I had a dream one night, Vic, that I was standing at a white fence, and I was on this side of the white fence. And on the other side was Satan and all his demons. And on the side that I was on was God and all his angels. And I'm right there at the fence. And I yelled to Satan, "You see, I'm on God's side." Satan laughed at me and he says, "But I own the fence." I was on that fence. So that let me know right there that there's too many quote unquote churchy Christian people that walk that fence right there and that walk that line. And I call myself a veil walker because I like to be the one to be in the middle, you know, so I can help deliver people and bring them back to their first belief, because there's stages to demonology. There's manifestation, there's infestation, there's oppression, and then there's possession. And in the past 5 years, we've seen a rise even after possession. We've seen obsession. And that means that that once they get delivered from that evil entity, that their mind, their body, and their soul feels like it's missing something. So they obsess for that feeling back. And all that's doing is inviting that entity back into your life a lot worse.
Wow, that's amazing. uh, wow. So, Shaney, in your opinion, right? Why do you think that? And I asked these to paranormal to some other teams. Same question. Why do you think, in your opinion, that the souls or the spirits are still lingering and not have crossed over?
Because, well, I've got
Theories?
a couple, yeah.
Okay.
One, obviously, because there's, I don't know how to explain it, right? Say there was like I don't know how to explain it. Some spirits are stuck here and they
Mm-hmm.
don't actually know that they've passed, so they're still stuck.
Okay.
Some don't know how to get to the light. I've never actually been asked that question before. You put me on the spot a little.
No, but those answers you gave me are the same answers some other paranormal uh people had gave me. So I get it. Now, you said something that's very interesting. That they don't know where the light is,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Let's just stop there for 1 second. We are told from our parents and people that when we die, that's what we follow is the light. The light comes and gets you.
Right.
So why are some of these souls not going directly to the light?
Right.
Is the light just bright and they see it and don't walk to it? Is the light come to them and they
Right.
just reject it? Like, because it's mind blowing for me, me out
Right.
looking in. I'll say, okay, so you're telling me that they don't know they're dead, which is that could be one point, but for the light to come and them and they not crossing over to the light, because we're told this, as you know, if you read the Bible and you're around people in church,
Right.
this is always brought up. You know, you follow the light, go to the light. The light is God. So some of these people that do die and know that, why don't they go straight to the light?
Right.
Sometimes I just don't want to. Like, there's
Scared.
a
It's
yeah,
it's a fear, because once you're in that medium zone, once you're in that medium there, you trying to wonder, am I still alive? Am I still dead? And then you see a light like that, and when you don't know that you're dead, why try to go through that light when you don't realize that you passed?
yeah,
Right.
and also if it's been like, say, there's been a man or a woman who's been like horrible, horrible, horrible in their life,
Then they're horrible in
right?
death too.
Then they want to be horrible. Yeah, they want to be in horrible in death, but they want to stay at that point.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So what was that you said, Shane? You said just now. Did you remember what you just said?
Oh, about when they pass, they're in that medium, because they, like she just said, if they're horrible in life, then they're horrible in death too. And a lot of them they see a light like this and they don't know that they're dead. A lot of them feel that they're not worthy to go through the light. Like if they go through the light, then they'll automatically receive their judgment. And a lot of times entities are afraid. And listen, theologically, in Thessalonians it says that the dead in Christ will rise first. So if they were already in heaven, why would they have to rise?
That's yeah.
So
Good point.
that's where we have a lot of these entities and stuff from, because a lot of them feel like they're trapped here, and not all of them are bad. But if you're good in life, then you're good in death. And good ones will always accept, they'll feel like they're lost, they'll feel like they're trapped, and then you give them a chance and you tell them that the light is open for them.
Right.
And then once they go through, like it happened right here in my living room. It happened right here in my living room with a guy named Johnny. And he was scared. He came through the spirit box and he was scared. He was scared. He was like, they won't accept me. He goes, I'm scared. I feel like I'm stuck here. And what we did is we manifested a light in his realm and in mine that he can go through. And Vic, I'm telling you, at the very end, you can hear him. You know what it sounds like when someone's at the other side of a gym and you can hear them echoing?
Yes.
He said, goodbye.
Mm,
And I never heard a thing from Johnny again.
wow.
So he was able to cross over,
Right.
and we want to be the voice for both the living and the dead. We want to show them the respect and the kindness and the understanding that they may have not gotten here on earth. We
Right.
want to tell them that it's okay to cross over. It's okay to go to that light. It's okay.
Right.
So a lot of them are just stuck and they don't realize, like she said, that they've passed, and it scares them.
You know, and that's another thing that gets me, because like, how would they not know they're dead if they're not interacting with no one that they know,
Right,
and if their spirit leaves their body, some say that the spirit, when they die, the spirit come out and they can see their body laying.
right,
So consciously, you not know that you're dead in your spirit and you're uplifting from your body and you're
right,
going to another thing. And when you get to that other place, the spirits that been there before you, they haven't crossed over for whatever reason. Do they communicate? Do they let them know, listen, you're no longer alive, you're a spirit now. Is that conversation being talked about in the other on the other side?
Right.
Those are things that I think about.
Yeah,
You know,
and like you said, do they have these conversations? Well, I've talked to people that said that they were in a hospital and they passed for such and such amount of minutes, and they literally saw themselves in the hospital bed, like above,
yeah,
and then they started seeing themselves from the vision or the sight of the people that are standing around them.
right.
So, so you obviously know that you're looking at yourself there, that but when that time comes, when you're away from that, there's times where you don't know, like if someone dies horrifically,
Hmm.
like if someone gets murdered. I mean, like it's so sudden that they're not going to know 100% what's going on. So that's what we are here to do. We're here to be the voice for those that don't know. I have a strange story with an Estes method. An Estes method is where you put noise canceling earphones on, you cover your eyes, and you get someone across from you ask questions or whatever.
Hmm.
And we were at a fort here in South Carolina, and we weren't getting any activity at all in the fort. But we decided to do an Estes method. I did the Estes method, and this girl Connie came through. And at the same time, my wife on the spirit talker came up. It said Connie, and I heard Connie come through. Well, she was saying over and over that she was that kidnapped, raped,
Hmm.
and there was another guy that was coming across that was trying to talk over her over and over again.
Yeah.
And we found out that she was kidnapped, she was raped, and she was killed. And the guy that did it killed himself. I
Hmm.
went to dialysis and I told an 80 something year old man that lives in that area
Hmm.
about what had happened where Connie had come through, and his eyes got really big. And he says, in the 80s, two houses up from me, there was a young girl named Connie that was kidnapped out of her house.
Wow.
She was raped and she was killed. And the guy, it wasn't a cold case because he killed himself. So see, neither one of their stories were able to be told, and it
Mhm.
got to be told through an Estes method. That's why we do what we do right there.
That's amazing. That's that's amazing. And I say this too. Having the talent that you guys have to go out there and investigate and talk to these spirits. You know, you guys can solve the lot. You guys will can solve a lot of unsolved crimes
Hmm.
by talking to these spirits that are lost. You said North Carolina. You know how many
South
bodies.
Carolina. I live in South Carolina. Yep.
Okay, South Carolina, North
Yep.
Carolina, but all the bodies that are probably in those woods that haven't been
Right.
found, that are
Right.
lost souls and are probably looking for a way out.
Right.
Um, that me being an investigator, that will be a place that I will go to and just see if I can get connected with some of those souls and maybe help them. Uh, maybe help them, solve that crime, that murder that might happen, that happened
Right.
back in the days, because they should know who they saw. They know
Yeah.
who murdered them. They know um what happened. And so I think that's one of the good things about being a paranormal investigator, that you have the ability to solve some of these crimes by talking to the spirits.
Right.
And that's big, that's huge. uh that's a game breaker right there.
Yep.
If you're able to do that. And me being in private if I was an investigator, that would be my thing. My thing would be go out there, not just investigate the thing, but to find spirits that were murdered and
Right.
never solved. That would be me. I will be that type of investigator. I don't want Okay, I know what's going on, but I want to be the person to help solve an issue, you know, and put these people where they belong. Either they are probably already dead, or if they're still living and got away with the crime, think they got away with the crime, and then here I come and say, hey, this happened in such a day, your name came up, where were you, and start an investigation and help these people get some peace. That's
Right.
just me. You know what I mean?
And I
That's just
mean, think about what you're saying too. Like, think if a police officer has a cold case for 20 something years,
yeah, exactly.
and someone has lived 25 years in society after they have done something horrific to someone, and then that person that was murdered comes through a spirit box and actually gives you the name of the person that did it. So
Yes,
then they start investigating that person, and then they go back and resume the body, and then they get DNA, and then DNA is something that never goes away, and they can solve cases like that. And I think we were on AJ's show, and there was a, I think his name Jonathan. I think Jonathan. He does cold cases like this, and I think it's so good and so phenomenal because now he's taking paranormal and putting it into the law field, and if he can help solve cases that they can't, then that just proves that paranormal investigation does a lot of good in this world. This is not just a hobby for some people. It's actually something to do to really help and benefit people in this world.
Yeah.
this is this is why this is so hard to bring evidence to light, because there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Not we all don't know the answers to it. We're trying to find the answers,
Yep.
right? And every team has a different way of operating, you know, and getting information, which is all good and dandy. Um, what 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 can people believe and not believe? That's up to them, right?
That's it.
Um,
That's it.
Yeah.
I truly believe there is something on the other side. I truly
Yeah.
believe there are spirits on the other side, bad and good. I believe they're demonical spirits and they're good spirits. I
Yep.
believe that. I haven't had an experience in my, just besides a dark shadow that came in my cell, and then I had another one dream where I saw Jesus walking me down a spiral stairs, and then at the end of the stairs, I saw my father laying there, with his hands crossed, laying like it was like a dungeon. It looked like where Jesus was put in when he died in
Right.
in the
In a
movie,
tomb.
in a tomb. Yeah, it looks like my father was sitting on there, laying on there, looking, talking to me. I didn't understand. Those are the only experiences that I've had. Um, so, but knowing that there is another side, because watching you guys, the paranormal, do investigations and stuff like that, um, and people from the other side coming through and talking to you guys through that device,
Yep.
you know,
Spirit box.
spirit box. That's how I know that there is something on the other side, because you guys
Right.
are proving that there is something on the other side.
Right.
There's a spirit there, and they're either they know they're there or they don't know they're there, but they're there. Okay, and you guys are trying to figure out why are they still here,
Right.
and what tragedy have they been through that got them to that position.
Right.
So, but for me, right, me growing up, I said, okay, my mom used to say, when you die, you're going to go to heaven or hell. Okay, to me, I only know two spots, heaven or hell. But now I know there's a
Right.
third. Now I know there's a third something in the middle. Why do all these souls? Well, I don't know, but for most souls, when people they stay there. You know what I mean? That like they get caught up in the middle. They're not in heaven and they ain't in hell yet, but they're there. What's going on in the middle? That
Well, the Catholic,
all these
the
spirits
Catholics,
are
the
there.
Catholics call that purgatory.
Okay.
They call that purgatory. That's like the in between. I'm not Catholic, but I do believe that when the Bible says that the dead in Christ will rise first, if they haven't risen first, I don't believe that you're just going to be right there in your coffin. You're not going, I think that you're going to be on the earth. You're going to walk the earth. You're going to be around people that you love and things like that. And like for the evil ones there, that they're going to be around too. And a lot of people have bad experiences. Uh, we had a case a long time ago that a woman, her cabinets kept going open in her house, and she thought for sure that it was like a trickster or an evil entity or something like that was going. She couldn't explain it
Right.
because she would put the dishes up or whatever, and then she'd go in another room, come back, and all her cabinets would be open. So the investigation happened, and they went and they started doing the investigation, and to find out that the lady had a late husband who had died in a horrific motorcycle accident. And he used to play tricks on her. Like
Mhm.
she would put all the dishes up and he'd
Right.
go behind and open up all the cabinets.
Right.
So we found that he was there just trying to let
Her no.
that he's there.
Mm, okay.
So she can live with that.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because if she didn't know that, she would have kept thinking that an evil entity is in there opening up her cabinets.
Right.
When it was her husband was there.
Giving
He
her
was
kind of yeah.
he was protecting her. He was looking after her,
Right.
and he couldn't touch her in the physical manner, but he can open up the cabinets to show her, "Hey, I'm still
Hey, I'm
here."
here.
Yep.
Okay. So Lisa Marie has a question here. She says there are two lights. When you ask them to go to the light, they either could be entering hell or heaven. We have no clue what these lights mean until we get to that point. Now she made something here interesting.
Yeah.
She said there's two lights. That's the first time I heard that.
Well, I think there could be. Like I said, if you're good in life, then you're good in death. If you're bad in life, then you're bad in death. Same thing with evil. So yeah, I do think that if an evil person, there is two lights there, and they may not be able to recognize it because they may have thought what they were doing was good. So
Okay.
there could be a light there that would entrap them. And maybe that's another reason why spirits don't like to go, because they think if they go through the light, then judgment's going to happen. They're going to be casted into hell for all of eternity.
Right, but
So
that's the point, that we die and we have to face our consequences for what we done here in this earth.
right,
So, now you have to accept that in your heart. Here now. Say, okay, I've done some things and repent of what you've done.
right,
And when you die, you shouldn't be afraid to go through the door. If
right,
God, if you're gonna enter God's kingdom, God's gonna open that door for you. There shouldn't be two doors there, to kind of play with your mind. If you're going to heaven, you just go to heaven. In my opinion, there should be just one light. And you go
right,
through that light, and then God says, okay, sit here. This is
right.
what you've done. This is what you've done. And either you're gonna stay here or you're going to hell.
And I would, in all honesty, I think if I was a spirit, I would be nervous about having two lights,
Exactly. That's
because
that's my point. I'll be nervous as well.
Yeah, because I mean, then you have to think. Then you have to think, if I go through the wrong light, then I'm going to be judged. And then if I go through the other light, then I'm condemned forever. You know what I mean? And so if you're good in life and you have repented and you know what you believe, and you believe in God and stuff like that, um there's that one solid light, the brightest light of them all, that you can go through, and from then on you'll be at peace.
Okay, I seen this kid, right? He was on TikTok that he had died, right? He died for maybe 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes that he died before they brought him back to life, he said that he went to hell. He said, I went to hell, and he said he saw the devil. He said the devil was a handsome guy
Yeah.
sitting on a throne with wings. And
Yep.
he said, welcome, son. I was waiting for you.
Mm,
This is the kid saying, black kid. He says that, that's what he said. He said, I was so freaked out. He said, I can hear screams and see people in chains and screaming out, help me, you know. And then he said that light came down and said, it's not your time. And he said he woke up, and and he was back. He was back, but he said, he said hell is real,
yeah.
you know. And the only reason why I believe what he was saying is because I've heard that from other people that passed away
Right.
and came back to life.
Right.
Same story, different scenario, but they say they're seeing the same thing. He said the devil is a handsome guy. They thought that he was a demon with him. He said no, he's a beautiful guy. He's a good looking guy,
Yep.
and with wings, and so I believe them, because it's the same story that I keep hearing from
Yep.
people that die and come back to. They see the same thing, and they hear people screaming and louding, and you know, he said he said he was mad hot down there.
Yep. Yep.
So now, when you say there could be two lights, why would there be two lights?
Well, like
You
I
know,
said, if you're evil or if you're bad, then then that could be a place right there where you can, where you can decide, hey, I've been bad my whole life. If I go through this light, then I'm condemned forever. When I was in Bible college, there's a book called A Divine Revelation of Hell, and it's by Mary Kay Baxter. And she was took into hell, which is described in the book as being in the center of the earth, shaped like a human body.
mm,
So there's like portals through there. There's she described like a volcano thing, and
yeah,
inside of it was coming up, and that was the souls of the people
mm,
weeping and gnashing, and she can hear the gnashing of teeth, just like
mm,
the Bible said.
right.
And these people were reaching out because Jesus was walking through with her to go through, and says,
I'm gonna
it's
show
too
you.
late. It's too late for these people. So
Right.
if those evil people, they go through that light and they go through the wrong one without repenting, without getting right with God, then they're going to be one of those people that are trapped. And even Jesus told her, said that it's too late for them.
Mm,
They had their chance,
right.
and then he starts naming, like, well, this person had a chance when this happened, when this happened, when this happened, and it was like all these things that were made on earth to wake them up, and they
Yeah.
chose to go a different route.
Right.
So then they said that hell was shaped like a human body, and in the belly of hell was the throne.
Mm,
And they said Satan was sitting, and the Bible says that the devil will come as an angel of light. he was one. Lucifer was one of the most beautiful angels. He was a high-ranking angel in the book of Daniel,
Right.
and he thought that he should be able to sit on the throne of God. He thought
Yes.
he was just as good
Yes.
as God, and not only did he believe it, but he convinced a third of God's angels that he could do it. So
Mm,
that's where the demons come from. So he was casted out.
right.
So I do believe he is. He was a beautiful. He was angelic. The
Yeah.
name Lucifer itself was an angelic name. That name was stripped from him, and his name is Satan. In the Greek, that means deceiver of all.
Mm,
So he deserves that name because of his separation from God. And that's basically who he is now. He's a complete separate. You know how you say you have good and evil?
yeah.
Well, then you have God and the devil,
Right.
you know, and evil comes from somewhere. And you think about the first people on earth, they were tempted by the devil. You know, in the Bible, it says that this in the book of Job, it says that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan was with them. The sons of God are the angels, and it says Satan was with them. He was walking with the angels. That means that he can deceive the angels, but the one that he couldn't deceive was God.
Which is
He's never allowed back in the throne. He can never sit on the throne. And I don't know if you guys know theologically, but in the Bible there are three heavens.
mm,
Paul said in the Bible, he said, I know a disciple in body or out of body was lifted to the third heaven.
mm,
I think the first heaven is what we can see and feel that we have no explanation how it got there. The sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxies.
yeah.
The second heaven is, I believe, where the angels come to clock in for work.
Right.
And the third heaven is, of course, God's throne, where Satan will never be allowed again.
Mm,
But the devil did say something interesting in the book of Job. God asked him, says, where are you coming from? And he says, walking to and fro.
mm,
That means he's going here, he's going there. He's going here, he's going there.
mm.
So I do believe that there's a strong spiritual warfare essence going on. And I think people need to realize that we are in a battle for
Oh
our
yeah.
souls, because that's what the devil's intentions are. The
Yeah.
devil's intention is to completely eradicate the human race, because we were created by God.
Right.
And of course, now he hates God, so he's got to hate humans too.
Right. Right. You know, this is amazing. You know, this is every time I get into a paranormal investigators on my show, it blew my mind, you know, because it's so much to input to take in,
Yeah.
you know, and I can't say you're wrong and I can't say you're right. I can just listen to what you're telling me
Yes.
because, you know, everybody has a different opinion,
Exactly.
you know, and when we're in a circle where everyone is looking and saying, no, well, I'm right. No, I'm right. He's wrong. No, he's wrong. I'm right. It seems like everybody confused at
Right.
one point, you know. So how can we get everybody on the same page to believe?
Well, first of all, believe in each other. One, you know, don't be separate, and do know that there is a life after this one. And to respect that, you know, if someone believes that there's entities, or there's spirits out there, you know, don't look at them like they're all demonic, because not all hauntings are demonic. Please, world, quit getting a YouTube education and quit believing that every haunting is demonic, because that is not true. I gave you an example of one.
Yeah. I truly believe it's not, you know. Um, and I truly believe that some are out to investigate what it's like. I believe that some are out there to and help some crossover. I truly believe that some go there to solve murders that
Right.
probably happen. You know, I think that each individual, every group is there for something different.
Right.
But
Right.
we all in the same circle. You guys are all in the same circle.
We're looking for answers.
We're looking for answers. And so it's a difficult it's a difficult thing to explain to people that either don't believe, or people that do believe, but because they're not doing what you're doing, to them seems like you're not telling the truth, or you're just making stuff up because
Right.
they're not investigating what you're investigating, or they're not um, as well informed as you are about it. So there's always conflicts.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Right.
I think that instead of having conflicts, reach
Be
out.
open minded.
Right. Or reach out and educate yourself a little more,
Right.
you know, because I would, if I was doing something and I wasn't too educated, and here you come and you telling me what you're telling me, and I said, wow, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about. I would listen to you and say, well, I got these questions, how, and
Right.
educate myself a little more, instead of just saying he don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I don't know what you know. I don't know what you've seen. I don't know what you've been through to say what you're saying. So there's a lot of bumping heads,
Yeah.
in that circle that you guys are in with the
Yep.
paranormal, and I think I think a lot of ego is also involved
You
in it.
just said it right there. That's the biggest word. That's the biggest downfall in the paranormal field is ego.
Yeah, and and I see it. I see it. I don't say nothing because it's not my place. You know, but I say, man, how can these people get together? And because I say this, if the team becomes strong, and unite, don't you guys know what you guys are capable of doing?
Right. Right.
You know, with all the mediums, with all the psychics that you got, with all the power that you got, man, you guys can take this to the next level.
Yeah.
And maybe no one is paying attention to that because everybody have egos and everybody's trying to do. Oh, I want my show to be better than Realms. I'm trying. It's a competition. It's not a competition, folks. We're all here to try to figure out something that we
Yeah.
don't understand.
That's it.
Yeah.
We don't
I couldn't have
understand
said
it.
it better than what you just said. That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
And I'm saying it from my point of view as an outsider. Okay, I'm saying it from an outsider, from looking at what I see, and I truly believe that you guys have something special, and you guys can do something that's never been done before.
Thank you.
And I don't think that anybody's and no one is looking at that part.
Yeah.
I see it from out here. I don't know about nobody else, but I truly believe that with all the powers that you guys have within that paranormal circle, you guys can come up with something that no one has ever done. You know, we say that we live off energy, right? Energy is what drives us. You guys have super energy because you guys, yeah, and I say that because there's things that you guys can do that a normal person can't do.
Right.
You got visions, you feel things. Not everybody has that potential to do that. So if for me, this is me speaking, my opinion, if you guys get together with psychics, um mediums, and in one place, hold hands together, and I don't know, pray or something, what can come out of that?
Right.
You're bounding all this energy among yourselves by holding hands. And I don't know what you guys might want to do after that, but I'm just saying the energy that you guys are building among yourselves by being in one location together.
Right.
What's the outcome of
Yeah.
that? What would
Well,
be the
that's a
outcome of
good
that?
thing. Like on our team, we have psychics, we have mediums. I have a lead medium.
Yeah.
we have a variety of things from chaotic magic or chaos magic, to mediums, to pagans, to Christians, to Catholics. I mean, I have a mixture across the board because I want to understand why each of them believe what they do, and if it's effective for them, that I don't want to be the judgmental person and say you're wrong for doing that.
Right.
I want to keep an open mind. And that's the one thing that I encourage all teams to please have an open mind. Don't close yourself off to one single thing, because if it works for some people, it may not work for you. What works for you might not work for some people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
this is why communication is important. You know,
Transparency.
yes, transparency, communication is important in you guys' world because you don't know everything. Shane, you don't know everything. You know, and a lot of people don't know everything. So get together as a team, as a family, and put these questions on a table and try to figure it out as a team. You
Yeah,
know, and see what you guys can come up with.
that's right.
You know, and say, okay, we but so let's try this. You know, let's try to take this to what is the next level for you guys? What would what could blow your mind, Shane and Shani, that you can say, whoa, we done took this to the next level? What would be that?
Um, if we could truly bring Perry unity to where it needs to be instead of where it is, and if we could all come together and we can start answering some of these questions that are hard for people to understand. And if we all work together at it with the
Yeah.
gifts and the talents that we have, then we could answer some of those questions that have been aged long enough.
Yes. I
And
Yeah.
if we work together and we stand behind each other, then I think that would be the most amazing thing to me. Because when you take a bunch of minds that are like minded and they are on the same page about understanding the unknown, and then we put methods behind it and equipment and stuff like that, and we prove the unknown, that would be the greatest aspect of any paranormal investigation. And I don't even consider myself a paranormal investigator. I am a demonologist, but I consider myself a paranormalist because I'm a researcher, I'm an investigator, I search, I look at evidence, I see evidence for what it is. If I get orbs, I put them through a program to where I can actually see a face in the orbs, and I've got several of them. And if we could all get together and become paranormalists and just really care and love about each other, I think that will be the greatest act in the paranormal field, when we can all get on the same page, ready to do the same thing, to
Yeah.
answer some of life's most difficult questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
Lisa Marie says, I am wondering how a minister can be placed in the middle of a veil when you gave your life over to a Christ and demons and demonics go against priests, ministers, and God's word.
What? So hold on a second. So basically, how can a preacher be in the veil? Why aren't more preachers in the veil? You preach spiritual warfare. You preach about things that are going on. More preachers are stepping up. More preachers are stepping up outside of priests, and they are standing in that veil, because when you have good, you have evil. And you can preach about the evil all day, but if you don't act on it and you try to rid that evil into the goodness, then what good is you sitting in church just listening to a message on spiritual warfare when you're not doing anything about it? I choose to be one that does something about it.
Okay. Lisa's Debbie. Lisa's replying to Debbie. I guess you're correct. Sometimes you will get the police officer or investigator that will allow a paranormal team, psychic or medium, to help out. I've seen that on TV where cops had. I think she was. I think she's a psychic. I don't know her name. Um, she's a Caucasian lady, older lady with curly hair or blonde hair,
Yeah,
and she takes the police officers to certain spots where bodies were, and she helped them, recover these bodies that were lost that they never found, and she brought them
that's
exact.
amazing.
Yeah, she had that type of power where she spoke to the spirits, and the spirits brought her to where the bodies were at. So she solved a lot of unsolved crimes, and that's what I'm saying. That a lot of you guys have different gifts,
Yeah,
and that one that lady has, I forgot her name, is a special gift where the souls talk to her and tell her exactly where they are, and she goes there and she finds the body, or the police officers find the body, or what I mean. That's something that I don't know, maybe 10% of the people in the world could do. I don't know. I,
right.
I don't know the percentage. I'm just throwing that number out there. But those are gifts that are special. Same with mediums, and 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 if it's used in a good way, man, so many great things can come out of this. You know what I mean? Um, and if you guys unite as a team, man, who knows how far you guys can take this, this paranormal thing to
Right.
what level you guys can actually get to, you know,
Mm.
um, where maybe the spirits, instead of you talking them through the box, you probably be able to see them.
Yeah.
You know,
Evolve.
yeah, you'll be able to see them, and they can probably guide you to where
Right.
you didn't. You know what I mean? That's the type of thing that I'm saying. The next level type of thing with
Right.
paranormal, where you guys can break that barrier, where you guys can say, "Oh, well, that's a spirit." You guys can actually see the spirit,
Right.
instead of hearing them through the box. That'll be the next level for me. If that could ever be done.
Well, we got to take it here. We got to take it here and now too. And the one thing that we can do now is to quit the backstabbing, quit the talking about each other behind each other's back, trying to throw people under the bus, trying to do stuff like that. And actually, because we're all in this for the same thing, we all want answers for the unknown. And
Yeah,
quit worrying about everybody else and just concentrate on you and bettering your life and in bettering your team's life and stuff like that. And that's a huge start to making para unity what it is, because how can we fix anything for someone else when we can't fix ourselves?
right. Carol says, "May I ask what Bible college you went to, Shane?"
What did she say?
She said, "What Bible college you went to?"
I went to Guido Bible College in Georgia.
Okay. Avi Klein, what's up, buddy? Thank you for popping up. TKN is in the building.
What's happening?
Avi Klein, great guy. He has a show, TKN, where he talks to celebrity. He has debates with
Awesome.
celebrities from all over the world, basketball players, superstars, movie stars. They come here and he has a debate with them, and you
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah, and whoever wins the debate, they get a trip and some money. So that's a great
Oh
show to
yeah.
watch. Thank you, Avi, for tuning in.
Yep.
So Lisa says, Shane, you stated earlier in the show you preached for 3 years. Why did you stop?
Because it wasn't my calling. My calling has always been in spiritual warfare. It's always been, I preached. If you look back on the 3 years that I was preaching, about 80% of them were from a spiritual warfare aspect. So I've always known that. I've always known that I should. And when, and then of course, when you're having, heavy premonitions and visions and stuff like that, you just can't tell like your deacons and stuff like that in the church that you get them because they think something's wrong. And I'm sorry to say this, but people that I call churchy people can be some of the most judgmental people
I agree.
towards everybody. And I'm not saying don't go to church because of people, because then you're eliminating God out of your life. But
Right.
I never eliminate God out of my life. God is always in my life,
Right.
whether I'm doing demonology work, whether I'm preaching, whether I'm giving food out on the corner for people that need it. I'm always trying to do something to better my relationship with God. And that's what it's about. And believe me, the Bible says if two or more come together, I'm in the midst. Two people can form a church. We have three sitting right here, so we could actually be the church. The church is not a physical building. The church is inside of you. We are the church. So it's not that I quit preaching or I quit. Yeah, I quit standing behind a pulpit from a full-time position because what I was preaching, I spent most of my time trying to get other people to do it. And instead, I needed to be doing it. So that's
Kind
the
of,
reason
kind of
why.
like, kind of like talk the talk, walk the walk.
Right. That's exactly why I did it.
Right, right. So, Shani, you came into this organization or whatever you want to call it because you wanted to figure out something or maybe clarify something in your life. What was the true reason why you joined the paranormal world?
Um, it's when I had an experience when I was younger. And then I started going out with my uncle, and then I started seeing things, and since that moment, I just wanted to get to do it more and more and more, really, and see it for myself and work with others to help other people.
Okay. So the experience you had made you want to get into the paranormal and and find out more about what that experience that you had was.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. Um, so now that you are part of the paranormal, what have you found out about the paranormal?
Well, there is life after death.
Okay.
um, that there is, there is other things out there, shall I say? um, and I am obviously I am a true believer in just the things you can't. What I believe and what I see and know, it's hard to tell somebody else because they don't necessarily have been through the your situation.
Right.
So unless you've been through something yourself, then it's hard to try and speak about it to other people, kind of thing.
Right. Um, have you ever tried? I don't know if you had anyone that passed away that you cared about, but if you did, have you ever tried reaching out to them and finding out how they're doing, or or how did they pass away or anything of that sort?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, yeah.
You have, and how has that made you feel?
It's mixed emotions, really.
Okay.
Um, because you're kind of happy because you've reached them, but then you're not happy because they're not physically here.
Right,
Right.
right,
Right.
right, right. And that's and that's the magic of this, um, because I know for sure in my heart, I would love to hear my father and my mother's voice, and know that they're okay. But
Yeah.
and that's the magic of what you guys do. And And I guess that's probably one of the reasons why I don't uh do the paranormal, is because I won't know how to take it
Right.
if I get to hear my father's voice or my mother's voice or my aunt's voice or I wouldn't know how I would take that.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to know that they're okay, that they're safe, that they're in a good place. It will break my heart to find out that they're a lost soul. You know, and what I mean by lost soul is what we was talking about earlier. In that middle threat line, that they don't know if they're going to heaven or hell. They're just stuck in that circle, and they're just lost 'cause they can't make up their mind. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I would love for them to be in a place where they know they're safe, and that God actually accepted them to cross over. Uh, so I think for me, because I joke a lot about it, you know, but now that we speaking here, and we talking straight facts, and we talking from the heart, you know, those are some of the things that fear me. You know, I fear the fact that uh, I talk to one of my parents and they say, you know, I'm not in a good place, or I don't want to be here. That will break
Yeah.
my heart. That will break my heart because I can't do anything. You know, how can I save them from the position that they are or where they are? I can't do that. So that will just destroy me mentally. And for me, and this is me just speaking for me. I'm not speaking for no one but me. That will crush me. You know, knowing that first of all I lost them. You know, that's a big thing to take in. And then to know that they're in a place that they cross and they're not safe, or they're not happy, or they're going through torture, or whatever the case may be, that can really that can really hurt someone mentally, you know, uh, especially if you're really close to your parents, you know, and you get to speak to them and they tell you something like that through a voice box. I'm not happy. I want to go home. You know, those are things that will crush me, and I think that's why I don't want to do the paranormal, because I don't want to go there and then, you know, say an example, we're talking and all of a sudden one of my relatives cross over and says my name, you
Right.
know, and says Victor, and I'll be like, who are you? And it could be my grandma, you know, or my mom, or my pops, or my nephews, and say, you know, I'm not happy. I'm scared.
Mm.
I want to go home. That would destroy me because I can't help them.
Yeah.
So that's why I ask you this question, that you know, have you spoken to someone that you cared about on the other side, and how did you feel about it?
Yeah. It's
Well,
just overwhelming,
yep, yep.
really.
You know, yeah,
Es-
and
Especially with me being 9 or 10 years old and seeing my grandfather like that. Like I didn't
yeah,
hear the voice. I didn't hear him talking.
right,
I just looked in the mirror and he was standing behind me with his hand on my shoulder. And what's crazy is I saw his hand on my shoulder, but I couldn't feel his hand on my shoulder.
right,
So basically, he was just letting us know that he was there and that he's always there with us.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
so when he touched your shoulder, you didn't feel it. Okay, so because I actually, when I'm asking this, because some people say that they can feel the presence,
Yeah,
or coldness on their body when they're being touched
yeah.
by a spirit, but you didn't feel that when your
Well,
grandfather.
no, not the physical, not the physical. No, it was cold around where I was, but I
Right.
also had a church suit on too.
Okay.
So I couldn't really tell what the temperature would have been like there, but it was there was a colder, and then as soon as he was gone, it was like
Back to normal.
the room went back to regular.
Okay. Okay. You see, this is why I love the paranormal, because there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah,
You know, and for me, and don't mind me, I'm a little, you know, touchy because I was really close to my parents.
right.
and just thinking about it just make my eyes watery.
Yep.
But
Same thing with my wife. My wife lost her mom in 2012, and she wants, and her dad died in what year? 2017. And her mom was like one of the greatest people we've ever known. And she would love more than anything to be able to hear her voice again and stuff like that. And one night we were having a team call, which is a group call, which I was on with my co-director and all them. And my co-director is he's a medium too, and he looked behind my wife, and he says, "You don't see that lady behind you?" And he described what her mom looked like in her best form,
mm, yeah,
in her best form, and she was behind my wife, like letting her know, "I'm here. I'm always here."
right, right. And some of us are fortunate to know and feel a presence of something. I get it sometimes, not all the time. You know how sometimes you feel like somebody's watching you. I don't know
Mm.
Yeah.
if you ever got that feeling like somebody's
Yes.
watching you. I get that sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes in the blue, and I wonder, why do I feel like that? Why do I feel like there's a presence?
So
And
maybe
what
someone
I'm
is. Maybe
right,
something is.
right, and I'm spiritual, and I know because I'm gifted through my mom and my grandmother. But I guess it's that I don't let myself open to that because I'm not really into it. But I went one day. I'm gonna tell you a story. I went one day to with a friend of mine, and they were gonna get their cards read. And so we went there. We went to the lady, and she sat there, and she's getting her cards read, and she's telling the thing. I'm in the side, standing watching it. And as she's, passing the card, she keeps looking at me and, talking to my friend, and she's looking at me. I'm quiet, and she reads her card. So, long story short, when it was over, she said, she looked at me. She said, "There's something special about you," you know.
Mm,
And I smiled, and I said, "I've heard that before," you know. And she goes, "No, you really are." She said, "You want to sit down?" And I said, "No, no, I'm fine. I appreciate it." And she said, I'm gonna do it anyway, right?" So she starts putting cards down or whatever, and and in my head, I'm like, this lady don't know nothing about me. She ain't gonna tell me nothing that that's gonna blow my mind. She's counting the cards, and she throws a card with a horse.
yep.
Right? It was a horse, and it was like a lady sitting on the horse, and she says, "You have a strong." She said, "There's someone that protects you all the time, and this person is very powerful." And she's riding a white horse, and she's dressed in white with long white hair. When she said that, my hair stood up.
Mm,
Everything stood up because I knew who she was talking about.
wow.
Yeah, she was talking about my great grandmother, and my great grandmother was very, very spiritual.
Mm,
When I say spiritual, where where one time three guys went to go rob her house because my great grandmother used to live in Puerto Rico, right?
right.
And she lived like in the not we call it dungeons, kind of like it was a mountain, high mountain, but she lived in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So there was no lights, there was no electricity out there, and she lived by a little river. So when it got dark, I mean, it was like the color you couldn't see anything, and she lived down there. That's how she lived. And these guys went there to go rob her, to take her stuff, and they had masks on. And this is my grandmother, my mother's mother, telling me the story, right? And she said they went there and they tried to grab my grandmother used to sew. She used to sew. She used to knit because she didn't have money to buy clothes, so she used to knit her own clothes and wash it through the river. Old fashioned type of thing. And the guys went in, and she said then, and And when they walked in, she named all three of them by their name. She knew who they were, and they masked. She knew who they were, and she named how they were going to get sick and die. And that's the way they all died. The same way my grandmother said they were going to die. That's how they passed away. And it just blew my mind. That she had that type of gift to know, to see who they are, and to just say, this is how your life is going to end up. And it happened. So when I had the psychic thing and she told me that, that's when I started to believe that people have had some type of gift, you know, um, by her telling me that. Because how did she know about a white lady in a horse with long white hair that was
Right,
protecting?
right.
And I didn't hear it just from her. I heard that from other people
Mm.
that said to me, that said, you are, they're like, you're special. You got something about you that's special. People like you. You have a glow to you. Anywhere you go, people look at you. And it's true. When I go places and I introduce myself and I walk through a door, people look at me, and I look at myself like, why are people looking at me? And it's a glow. She said, you have a glow that attracts people. People want to know who you are. And so she said, you're gifted. You just don't know your gift. And I've been searching for it. I've been searching for my gift, and I think now that I'm older, I'm 54. I think that my gift is to make peace among people,
Yep.
bring people together and love one another.
That's an
Uh,
awesome gift, brother.
yes, and uplift people, and give people opportunities. I think those are my gifts that God want me to do, and because it's not about me, it's not about me, it's not about my show, it's about the people. For me, it's about the people, and I love people, and of all kind. I don't see color. Color to me is nothing. I see a person from your heart for who you are as an individual, and what type of energy you're kicking out,
Right.
and if you're kicking out good energy, then you're gonna catch me, because that's what lures me in, is good energy. And when I see people like that, I want to help them, because people that usually throw a lot of good energy out are very humble people, and been through things in the past
Yeah.
to become who they are today. And I tell you, back in the days, I wasn't who I am now. I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I heard it.
Same.
I
Same.
You see what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
heard it. I heard people. I was doing things on the street that I shouldn't have been doing. When I got baptized at 50 something, 40 something, something came over me. I felt it. I felt something come over me, like a cleansing, something shook something out of me, and I started talking different. I started treating people different.
Right.
My heart got softer, right? I had a solid heart. My heart was a rock. If it wasn't about me, if it had nothing to do with what I want to do, I didn't want to hear it.
Right.
So God touched me in a way to reach out to people, and,
Right.
and be able to talk to them, and listen to them, and 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 uh and I'm grateful for that, because
Right.
of that I've met all you guys, and all, I can't say nothing bad about no one that's ever been on my show. And whatever problem that's going on, all I want to do is make peace, you know, because all of you guys are my friends.
And we appreciate you letting us on your show.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do.
yeah, because this is the gift God gave me. Give everyone an opportunity to be heard, you know, and, even if you're wrong or right, don't matter. Everyone has the right to be heard. and,
Right.
and and that's why I created the show. I don't care where you're from. If you want an opportunity to come on my show to, Either show your talent, speak about the paranormal, speak about your personal life, speak about an issue that you may have that you want people to know, then this is the show you want to be in, because I'm gonna give you that opportunity. I don't, I don't feed into the negativity, right? I take the negativity and I turn it into something positive.
Right.
That's who I am.
You're like a jack of all trades.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And when I'm involved in something, right? When I'm involved in something, I like it to be pure. I like it to be pure because that's how I function.
Right.
The
Yeah.
the minute that circle starts to break that cycle, I feel it right away.
Right.
And I start to detach because that's not the type of vibe or energy that I'm looking for. And that's not the type of energy God wants me in. And right now I follow God. I don't follow nobody else but God. So
That's
whatever
it.
God puts in my mind and in my heart, that's what I do.
That's
So,
it.
you're my friend, Shanny's my friend. You guys got a problem,
Thank
guess
you.
what? You guys got to figure that out. I'm not going to play the middle. I'm not going to play the middle because
Right.
I don't play the middle. I do not play the middle for no one. I don't care how good Shane is, your friend of mine, and how good Shane, your friend of mine. If you guys have an issue, my job as both of you guys' friend is to try to make amends between you guys.
Right.
Right? That's my job as your friend and Shane's friend.
And that's why your show will be blessed, because you think about other people more than you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the gift God gave me, you know. And I'm grateful for that
Yep.
because there's a lot of evil going on in this world,
Yep.
and I like to unmask. I like to unmask the evilness. You know, I don't want the evilness in my presence at all. And so when I see things like this happen, it hurts me because, like, I don't want as people say, well, if you talk about Shani like that, what are you saying about me? You know, which is true. You know,
Mm.
but I don't try to get involved with that. I try to help that person look at it in a different perspective where, okay, you have an issue, but let's work with it. Let's work with it because we got to remember that before you became paranormal, you came into these groups, right? You became friends first.
Yep.
Okay. We became friends first, and there was a good bond, bef- between everyone before things started to to erupt. And if you're really about the people and you're really about love, then the right thing to do, right, wrong or right, is to fix the issue, not
Right.
not add fire to it. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
start adding fire to it, other people get involved, right? When other people get involved, then what you said about Shani, which is probably like this small, by the time it got to Shani, now it's this big.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the day that you and Shani said, okay, we're gonna talk, we're gonna fix this issue. Now you got to explain yourself of everything that was said. That you had nothing. You didn't say all that. You said this much, but because other people got involved, now you got to explain yourself to fix this big problem
Right.
that was created for no reason. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So what I'm basically trying to say is this: no matter what happens between any party, if you got a good heart, the right thing to do is make peace. Make peace, because that's God says you cannot enter my kingdom with your heart full of uh of hate.
Right.
Yeah.
And my heart is pure, regardless of what I've done in the past. My heart is pure. And what I mean by pure is that I don't hate nobody. I don't hate nobody. I forgot everybody that did things to me, and I repent. I got baptized. So my heart is pure of everything. Everything from hatred, you know, I'm just full of love. It's what I'm trying to say,
Yep.
you know, and I want to spread that love to everyone because we're all brothers and sisters, no matter how you look at it. And and I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect Sean. I'm going to respect everyone that comes in my show, like you, my brother, or you, my
Thank
sister.
you.
You know,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
because at the end, that's who we are.
That's it.
We
Yeah.
only have one creator that created us. He just couldn't create us all in one image because then we all look alike. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he had to create different types of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
create, but we are the same, man. We are the
Hmm.
same. We all come from the same creator. He just he just made us different.
And how
Yeah.
can you say
No,
that
he
you
didn't
hate
make
your
us
brother
different.
but
Yeah,
you
he
love God?
exactly. He didn't make us different. He just gave us a different color shade. Let me put it that
Right.
way. Because at the end of the day, we are the same people. We bleed the
Yep.
same. We cry the same. We do mostly all the things the same.
We
So
bleed the same.
that's right. Amen to that. So, you know, my thing is peace. I want peace for all of us. And I just hope that things get better for you guys because I truly believe that you guys in the paranormal, parapost, paralinks, global ghost hunt, all these networks that you guys got going are phenomenal. And if you guys can get along, man, you guys can do some powerful things together.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
know,
very much.
yeah. So, is there anything else you would like to say? Any shout outs? Um, Anything you want to tell the people?
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that's been on, all the comments, everything that's going. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we're a growing team. We don't have any stipulations when it comes to being a part of Outer Realms, whether you have no experience or you have all the experience in the world. We have a place for you. And not only that, but I mean, come check out our pages. Come join our pages, Outer Realms Paranormal and Outer Realms Paranormal UK division. We are two different divisions. We are one team, and we have one mission, and that's to be the change that you want to see. And if we can do that, then we can all be better people in this world.
And I believe you can do it. It's all about, see, I don't believe in I can't do this anymore, or it can't be done. Anything in the world is possible. You just got to have God in your side and the willing to do it. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't do it, it's either because you don't want to do it or because you're lazy. But
Right.
anything in life is possible, and we know that. You know, um, because God created us, we all special. We all special childrens to God. We all got gifts. Okay, and so if you got those type of gifts that God gave you, just imagine what you can do with them if you really dig deep, deep, deep
Right.
inside your soul and work with that gift.
And
Man,
we can unify each other and then use the gifts that God has given each and every one of us
that's right.
to better life, to better our situations, to better other people's lives. How much better would we be? Because how can we love God but hate our brother? But then say
Yeah.
that, but it works both ways, though. So I mean, you have to be the change that you want to see. If you don't like what you're seeing, then you have to change what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's what we're about. We're about evolving. We're about being the change that we want to see. And we just want the very best for this field because we love this field. We
Right.
love the paranormal field. I love the people. I have met some amazing people in this field.
Right.
And I have been blessed enough to know who they are, them to know who we are, and we all support each other. We all have the para unity, para family, para community in mind, and that's exactly what we want to do at Outer Realms Paranormal.
Right. Amen to that. Because if you got God in your life, if God is truly, truly in your life, then there's no hate in your heart.
No,
You can't say, "Oh, God is in my life. I live for God," and but yet you hate this person because, an
Right.
example, because you don't look like I look, or because you do this. God is love, man.
Yep.
God is love, and if you got God in your heart, you love everyone,
And
regardless
just
how
because
many.
I disagree with you doesn't mean I hate
Exactly,
you.
exactly. Because you know that's when we have conversation when you
Right.
disagree, and it's all right to disagree with people. But what I'm saying is, you can't sit there and say, "Man, I hate this person because this is," you're not a person of God when you start hating.
Right.
Yeah.
Dislike. I can say I can hear you. I can see a person dislike someone else, but when you say hate, hate is as big as the word love.
Yep.
Okay, and I don't use that word because I used to use it. I don't use it no more since God came into my life. Right, because
Hate is a word of judgment.
right. So when God came into my life, I've learned to love,
Yeah.
and I don't dislike nobody. I don't hate nobody. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say I might dislike a few people for what they do, you know, um, for what they do, but I don't hate them. They just got to find some understanding with God, and they need some work
It's
among
not the
themselves.
person, it's the actions of the person.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I just want to spread that and put that out there that you know if you're having any type of issues with anyone, man, reach out to God. God will make it better. God will guide you how to make things better. But
Yep.
you gotta put in the work because He's not gonna walk you through it.
Yep.
Right. So, and with that being said, I know there's a lot of yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff. There's so much backstabbing in the paranormal community. Yeah, that's a whole lot of stuff going in the community, and I get that. I see it from the outside, but you know, you as an individual, us as individuals, we know what's good and what's bad.
Right.
We're not little kids here. We're grown
Right.
people. So what you do, your actions towards the next person defines who you are as an individual.
That's right.
So
Hmm.
if you're a person of God, then you do godly things,
Right.
right?
Right.
You can't do godly things. I mean, if you do godly things, and but if you're not with God, you're not going to do godly things. And maybe you need to sit back and check yourself about
Right.
about how you approaching people and what you're saying about people, because sometimes people say things about people because they're insecure about themselves, and that's not good,
Right.
because when you start to bring that energy around good people, you know those good people, I don't want to be a part of that. So you're going to start to lose people
Yep.
because of the energy that you're bringing,
Right.
and sometimes people are good people. They got good intentions. Sometimes they let their emotions get to them, and they say things and they do things that they don't
Right.
want to or mean, and create a big problem, and then they don't know how to get out of it. So the best thing to do if you create that problem is to fix it. How do you fix it? It's by communicating
Yep.
with the person that you have an issue with. Don't involve other people, because then things get out of hand.
Right.
Okay. And that's just my message for today for the people. It's love. Love,
Good
love, love,
message, brother. Good
love,
message.
love, love. Yeah. So I want to thank you both for coming in. Shani, thank you so much. I know you're probably you know, your situation. Probably want to rest. So I'm gonna let you rest. And Shane, I want to thank you for the knowledge you gave us today, and I want to thank you for coming aboard the show. And I want to wish you both the best, and
Thank you.
everyone, yeah, and everyone else that's watching, and everyone else that's watching, and tune in next Saturday. I will have Johnny Knuckles versus Sarah Forum on the Showdown Challenge next Saturday, 7 p.m. You guys can watch that. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I will be watching it. I've been watching Johnny Knuckles now ever since he first got into this, and
Yeah,
I like what I see. I love that show on Saturdays.
good. And see, and that's the whole thing about the show, because he'll get he'll get a fan base, what is it called, fan base. You never
Yep.
know who's going to be a fan of your music. you know, and that's what, man, I'm trying to create something so beautiful for all of us.
And I think it was funny when you had that comedian on there, and he was like, "Yeah," he goes, "I can't beat him in singing, but I know I can beat him up."
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Ryan Delton?
Yeah.
Right. He's a celebrity boxer and
Yeah.
a comedian. I love him. He's amazing. But you know, and that's what I want. I just want us all to get along and love one another, because you know I love you guys, even though I don't know you guys like I should, but I don't need to know you to love you. You know, it's just something that God put in my heart. You know, is to love people regardless of
That's
who
right.
they are, their gender, their color. I don't look. God doesn't look at that. So why should I?
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? And if I'm a son of God, then I go by His ways. I don't see
That's
color.
it.
I don't judge nobody. There's no reason for me to judge anybody because I'm not better than no one else.
That's
You
it.
know, I'm just here to create something beautiful, spread the word of God, and try to unite us as people. You know, that's my job,
That's it.
and
That's
I'm
it.
doing it. And I'm
You
doing it.
can't ask for better than that.
That's right. And this is why I got the platform. This is what God gave me to be able to do that. Is to unite us as people, and to put the message out there for those that are having situations with other people. Put that to the side. Learn how to love, you know, and for you and for me to love you, Shane, and to love Shandy, even though I don't know you guys, I gotta love myself. I gotta love
That's
God,
it.
right? So if I love myself and I love God, then loving you and Shane is easy for me to do.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So again, thank you guys. I love you guys, and I wish you guys the best on your adventures with the paranormal. And I'll bring you guys back again in the future, see what you guys got going on. And for my viewers, thank you so much for supporting my guest today. And I love you guys as well. And remember to love is free, man. Love don't cost you no money to show love to people. It's something free to give. So if you haven't do it, try it, and I guarantee you're gonna love it.
And I want to say thank you to my Outer Realms family and community. I thank you all for all the love and support that you show.
Amen.
And we just want to give a huge shout out to you because you all are amazing. You know who you are. And we appreciate and love each and every one of you. We love everybody that's on here. We just want to be the light in the darkness. We want to be the change that we want to see. So with that, you guys be blessed always and stay spooky, people.
Stay spooky. Bring those spooky stuff to the show, okay? Because I want no more spooky stuff, fellas.
Yep.
All right. So I'll see you guys soon. And again, I love you guys, and I mean that from the heart.
We love you too, brother.
And stay focused, stay blessed, and stay out the way. Peace, love, respect. We out of here. Ciao.
Later, guys.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.